Dank times, Danker thoughts, sweet vibes and taking it sleazy. The dankness is taking over, nonsense is dancing through his mind. Oh, the dankness is taking over. Dank times, Danker thoughts with Adrenochrome.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Dank times Danker Thoughts. Let's see, this is episode 121. Damn, time flies and you're having fun. Thanks for listening to me ramble. We're going to keep it pretty light this episode. We're not going to spend a lot of time on news and sports. Rather, I'm going to focus on going off on wild tangents and not quite finishing any of my initial thoughts. You know, my common experience recording these podcast episodes is that while I'm actually recording, I'm thinking in the back of my mind, this is the best podcast I've ever done. This episode is brilliant. I'm really succinct. I'm making fair points. I'm making sense. I'm wrapping up all the loose ends. Basically I'm doing a great job. And I feel very good and I feel accomplished. Then when I have to listen back to the episode and edit it, it is just a pile of shit. More often than not. I'm being a little dramatic here. But when I finish recording, I'm feeling like an A+ kid. And then when I finish editing, I feel like the episode is about a C- to a D+. So I'm changing it up a little bit. So let's knock out the boring news stories right off the bat. Our future president, hopeful future president, I should say, Jon Stewart, who has done more for veterans than any Republican senator in, 50 years? He finally, after years and years of fighting the Republicans, he wasn't fighting the federal government, he was fighting the Republicans. They finally passed that VA bill to ensure that those veterans that have cancer or other ailments from burn pits in the Middle East are finally going to get their medical bills paid for. It should have taken one day 20 years ago for this bill to pass. The instant we had boots on the ground in the Middle East and we were doing those awful, disgusting, just vile, evil burn pits, we should have been covering them nonstop. So, again, this is why the Republicans call themselves the pro-life party, but they really don't give a fucking shit about people's lives. They care about the hypothetical life that a fetus has. But once that fetus gets pushed out into this awful world, they could give two fucks about the kid. So, fuck the Republicans, fuck the pro-life movement, and God bless Jon Stewart. I hope to Christ almighty that he runs as an independent or a Democrat as president. I mean, he's just the kick in the balls this country needs. And listen to his, 9-minute, just scathing denunciation of the Republican Party after the Republican Senate voted down the bill a week and a half ago. They have since passed it, but, it was all just culture war type bullshit. The sad thing is that's wrong. That's ultimately what's wrong with our government, is that there's very few people like the ilks of Bernie Sanders that actually care about the well-being of Americans, regardless of race, sexual preference, age, or who your political affiliation is. I can't name maybe more than 5 to 7 politicians that are like a Bernie Sanders. The other ones are just a mishmash of awful, evil, and just outright retarded. So we need more politicians that are outsiders, in my opinion. But for the love of God, can we just be more choosy with these outsiders? No more Donald Trumps, okay? No more Tucker Carlsons. No more, oh God, who are they talking about on the Democrat side? The Rock or Oprah? Let's just chill, okay? Let's look at who actually can stand up for what they actually believe in, and that's Jon Stewart. So kudos to you, future President Jon Stewart, for doing more for veterans than any Republican senator has done in my lifetime easily. I just don't understand how the Republicans, well, it's both parties, but mainly the Republicans are just sucking on that dick of the armed forces But then again, they don't take care of the veterans coming back. They don't fund the VA. Do you know how many homeless people or addicts are out there that are veterans? I mean, it's disgusting. Something like 40%. I just made that number up, but it sounds about right, doesn't it? So congratulations, Jon Stewart. Now, I know if he ever becomes president, he's really going to take care of our veterans. And God bless, they know they need it, okay? We know it too. Moving on, the aftershocks of the Pelosi to Taiwan trip is still reverberating. China has surrounded Taiwan and has been doing war games in and out of the Strait of Taiwan while ignoring the Biden administration's phone calls. So it really does look like World War III is right around the corner. Russia's already taken over Ukraine, and they have their eyes set on Moldova. And what's the other Eastern Bloc state that's getting pretty scared? Is it Estonia, Latvia? One of those Latvias. But so that's already happening. And then if you just look at China, China wants Hong Kong. Okay, let's face it, they already took Hong Kong, and we didn't do a goddamn thing. So now they're trying to take Taiwan, all because Big Tits Pelosi went over there, said a really cringy speech, and really did more harm than good. No, I know last episode I was sort of praising her for sticking it to China, which I still kind of believe in. But now that kind of the dust has settled and I'm hearing and reading experts' opinions on the trip, it sure seems like Pelosi picked one of the worst times to visit Taiwan. So, Jesus Christ, we could have a Cold War 2.0 here between Russia and China. Not to mention India's going fucking bonkers right now with Pakistan. Saudi Arabia is going ham always, and of course, Palestine and Israel are. I mean, Israel just is the fucking bully in the playground, and poor Palestine. So it's just, I get really down in the dumps. I mean, I already am down in the dumps when I'm reading the U.S. news, and then when I go to the global news and I see Russia and Ukraine, China and Taiwan, India and Pakistan, Israel and Palestine, I think, well, at least it's not just America that's having a fucking hard time. Although maybe Pelosi went over there to escape her husband, who was arrested for a DUI. And if you ever want to see the perfect mugshot, look up Nancy Pelosi's husband's mugshot. Jesus Christ. That's why she went to Taiwan, is, you know what, Buster? You're on your own, all right? I give you all these insider tips for your stock trading, because I think that's what Pelosi's husband is. He's in private equity, or he's a stock trader. He's some high-level financier cuck. And so you know Pelosi, who's adamantly against banning federal employees from having stock options. I mean, Democrats and Republicans are wanting that stock blocking senators and House reps or anyone from Congress and their families of having the ability to buy stocks. I think it's only fair. But fucking Pelosi, she's worth, what, 9 figures of... That's just what her taxes say. She may be a billionaire for all we know. She can only do so much to support her husband. And this is how he treats her, by getting arrested, getting a DUI. Probably had too many mint juleps. So while he was in court, her and her big tits were in Taiwan, just starting World War III. So fun times, baby. Fun times. But at the end of the day, I like America telling China, you can't just assume that you can take over a sovereign nation. That's one area that, as long as I've been alive, America has not accumulated another country and called it its own. We haven't added a 51st state, is my point, and we have plenty of options. You don't think we want to make Iraq or Afghanistan the 51st state? You don't think we want to make, well, Puerto Rico, I think, would be a decent one. And I don't know why D.C. is still not a state, but you get my point. We haven't been expanding our boundaries in my lifetime. We just do it with empty-headed wars. And last but not least, I'm sure we've all heard it by now, but Beyonce released a new album a couple weeks ago. And in one of the songs, she had the term spaz in the lyrics, and the community that are called the ableist community, which is interesting because they're the disabled community. That doesn't make any sense to me. If you're disabled, why don't you just call yourself the disabled community? When you call yourself the ableist community, it flies in the face of reason. Why do you call yourself the ableist community if you're not, able to do things like you and I? I don't just call yourself the disabled community. It doesn't make sense. When I heard the ableist community was against the term spaz, my first inclination was to think, ableist community? Well, I'm able to do everything. I'm not upset about spaz. And then I learned what ableist community actually means. You know, Down syndrome people, you know, special ed, you know, window lickers, short bus, those kind of people. And I'm not talking about the cancel culture people. So, of course, I think this is stupid. She agreed to re-record the entire song over the term spaz. And so if you ever wonder why in 2024 Trump will be president, or DeSantis will be president, or Tucker Carlson will be president, or who's that evangelical whore? Joel Osteen. It's because of shit like this. You can't say midget, you can't say spaz, you can't say retarded when you're just fucking around with your buddies. So, again, I'm all for political correctness. You know, there's some words that have left the ether of the English language because they need to. I'm not going to go through the words because I don't want this podcast to be demonetized, but the N word, the F word, obviously. But come on, okay? You can't keep introducing issues that are fucking over society, okay? Spaz? You know what's going to happen now? That term, spaz, is going to be taken by the right-wing, QAnon, Proud Boys, Liberty Movement, whatever. And so you think the Let's Go Brandon chant was annoying and stupid. Wait till you hear the Let's Go Spaz Brandon chant that's going to pop up here in the midterms. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. And then to top it all off, Monica Lewinsky, who I have defended the last, ever since her infamous cigar and stained jacket, she came out and said, well, there was another Beyonce lyric from a couple of years ago that said, so-and-so Monica Lewinsky to all over me, meaning the guy that Beyonce was with came all over her jacket. Monica Lewinsky said, well, shouldn't that be called Bill Clinton on your jacket? Because that's what the term is. Monica Lewinsky doesn't mean anything. Pump your brakes, okay? It may not be factually accurate for what happens within the body, but if you're coming on a lady's jacket and the man is like a level of power and the woman is not, then yes, you got Monica Lewinsky, okay? So you can't out-woke each other, okay? And that's a whole other term. I don't even know what woke means anymore. It's been corrupted by fucking morons. So I don't consider myself woke anymore because the term has changed. So to me, what woke means is I'm aware of the issues that are plaguing this country. I'm aware that I have white privilege. I am aware that I have gotten certain breaks and that I continue to do so, and that my life is completely different than someone of color or a female or gay or something or Muslim because of it. So I am woke to that realization, but I am not woke when I'm ignoring biology or if I'm ignoring science or facts or the truth. You know, when Kellyanne Conway during Donald Trump's presidency said that what we're saying are not lies, they're just alternative facts, I thought, well, that's the end of honesty and truth right there. If you can call lies alternative facts, then nothing is sacred. And now look at it, the left has gone completely bonkers with their gender stuff, their trans stuff, their labeling of people like the Latinx stuff. It's insane, it's absurd. It is legitimately flying in the face of biology, evolution, medical science, just everything. When I was a kid, the people that went against science and truth and facts were Christians, were religious zealots, Republicans. Now, you have fucking nut jobs on both sides losing their fucking mind and just making up shit. It's so lazy, and it's demeaning to common sense. If you just say, well, I'm too lazy to question why this term bothers me, so instead of looking inward, I'm going to attack outward and call anyone who disagrees with me a fucking fascist or a Nazi or a cuck or a liptard. It's ridiculous, and that's why we'll all be speaking Chinese in about 10 years. Maybe that's not so bad. Maybe we need some communism to balance out our retardation. But with that was all the news. You see what I'm talking about? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. In and out, baby. So let's talk about some fun stuff. Last week, I finished Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I talked about this book, I don't know, a month or two ago when I started reading it, and it was such a good read. Very enjoyable, very entertaining. It was a thriller. It was a love story. There was some action. There was some mystery, some intrigue. And I know those of you that are in the know, this book has kind of been around the book world for a couple of years. I think it was written in 2018. It's been given Oprah Winfrey's book club. It's been given Reese Witherspoon's book club. And it's been given, who's the other? Gwyneth Paltrow. All these white women. And let's face facts, the only people that like Oprah are all white women. They all love this book for a reason. They all threw their sticker on it for a reason. And I will tell you that the reason is warranted. It is a very enjoyable book. It is an easy read if you're not an avid reader. Now, I know they are making a movie adaptation of Where the Crawdads Sing that's coming out later this year. I saw the trailer. It didn't really do much for me, but I will give the movie a shot when it gets released. In fact, when is that bullshit coming out? Now, while I look that up, let me tell you what the book is about in case you haven't heard of it. For years, rumors of the Marsh Girl haunted Barkley Cove, a quiet fishing village. Kaya Clark is barefoot and wild, unfit for polite society. So, in late 1969, when the popular Chase Andrews is found dead, locals immediately suspect her. But Kaya is not what they say. A born naturalist with just one day of school, she takes life's lessons from the land, learning the real ways of the world from the dishonest signals of fireflies. But while she has the skills to live in solitude forever, the time comes when she yearns to be touched and to be loved. Drawn to two young men from town who are each intrigued by her wild beauty, Kaya opens herself to a new and startling world until the unthinkable happens. In Where the Crawdads Sing, Delia Owens juxtaposes an exquisite ode to the natural world against a profound coming-of-age story and haunting mystery. Thought-provoking, wise, and deeply moving, Owens' debut novel, god damn, it's her first novel, reminds us that we are forever shaped by the child within us, while also subject to the beautiful and violent secrets that nature keeps. The story asks how isolation influences the behavior of a young woman who, like all of us, has the genetic propensity to belong to a group. The clues to the mystery are brushed into the lush habitat and natural histories of its wild creatures. Goddamn right. I could not explain it any better than that. Just a hauntingly good book. It's so good, in fact, I may reread it again because it doesn't have that level of overwhelmingly burdensome story that it may pay off, but you'll just never read the book again. I've read some amazing, amazing books, but the subject matter or just the length or just some of the actions or the I don't know what to want to call it, but basically sometimes the book is so good, but it just takes so much out of you, your emotion, your mental state. It makes you question things that I'll never read it again. I have so many books on my bookshelf that I will never read a second time, and they're sitting right next to books that I've read 10 to 12 times. But Where the Crawdads Sing, I can easily see myself rereading it, I don't know about multiple times, but at least once or twice more. But let's see, when is that movie coming out? Oh, is it already out? Holy shit. Where have I been? Where the Crawdads Sing? Oh, it's getting decent reviews. Wait, it's out? How come I haven't heard of this? When is it coming out? God damn you, IMDb. Where do you put the release date? July 15th? God damn, it's August right now, so I missed it. Shit. This would be a good movie to take a bitch to on a nice date. Who are the stars of this? Daisy Edgar Jones is playing Kaya Clark. Harris Dickinson is playing Chase Andrews. Taylor John Smith is playing Tate Walker. Oh, David Strathairn's in it. Tom Milton, nice. Sterling Macer's playing Jumpin'. All right. Oh, Garrett Dillahunt's in the... Oh, he's playing Paw. God damn it, dude. Garrett Dillahunt is a damn good actor. Very underrated. But this movie's already been out? What are the reviews like? 7.1 out of 10. Well, I'll definitely have to go see it. How long is it? Over 2 hours. Okay, that's good. I mean, the book is so good. You do need a good length of a movie to tell the story right. Nice. I'm happy that they're doing it right. So, highly recommend Where the Crawdads Sing. It's an insanely popular book. Those of you that like books, I'm sure you've seen it around or have read it. I'm still listening to the audiobook about the 1619 Project. It is a slow churn because I can only listen to about a half hour before I want to commit suicide because the book is so depressing for what we did in our history. with African Americans, Chinese, indigenous peoples, but obviously the book mostly focuses on African Americans. So I started reading Why We Sleep, Unlocking the Power of Sleep and Dreams by Matthew Walker. I've heard this book referenced on many podcasts. I went to a sleep study in Seattle a couple of years ago where they referenced this book. And in fact, now that I think about it, it may have been the author, Matthew Walker, that was doing this sleep study that I went to. I'm not entirely sure, but either way, I just started. I'm about 30 pages in, and it's a really good book. I'll go ahead and read the tagline here. Neuroscientist and sleep expert Matthew Walker provides a revolutionary exploration of sleep, examining how it affects every aspect of our physical and mental well-being. Charting the most cutting-edge scientific breakthroughs and marshaling his decades of research and clinical practice, Walker explains how we can harness sleep to improve learning, mood, and energy levels, regulate hormones, prevent cancer, Alzheimer's, and diabetes, slow the effects of aging, and increase longevity. Well, I don't know if I want to increase my life. He also provides actionable steps towards getting a better night's sleep every night. This is written in 2017, and I want to say 2019 is when I went to that sleep study in Seattle. I don't know if I should even call it a sleep study. Basically, a sleep scientist, and he could, like I said, it could have been this neuroscientist author, Matthew Walker. I don't remember, but it was about a 2-hour, kind of a TED Talk, if you will, and I came out of that illuminated. And that was right after I listened to a Joe Rogan podcast with this Matthew Walker on about a week or two before the sleep study TED Talk thing. So I was blown away by all this. So I went out and I bought some materials that I read about or heard about. And I will say, for the last couple of years, since I've really tried hard to get better sleep, healthier sleep, I have lost weight, I have more energy, I don't have the issues while I wake up 6 or 7 times in the night. I don't have issues that it takes me an hour to fall asleep. I don't have the issues of waking up too early and still feeling like garbage if I get 8 hours of sleep. So I've seen only benefits and only positive outcomes from putting myself more so into the let me figure out how do I get better sleep. Although, like I said, I don't know if I like the idea of this is going to negate aging and going to increase my longevity. I'm about ready to get checked out of this, what we call life here. I'm kidding, of course, but I'm getting sick of it. But yeah, I will say, since I've invested my time and energy and some finances into getting better sleep, I have seen some positive progress when it does come to my learning, my mood, and energy levels. I can't speak to my hormones or my cancer or Alzheimer's or diabetes fighting, but I go to the doctor 2 to 3 times a year, and so far I don't have Alzheimer's and I don't have diabetes. I don't have any medical issues really, whereas I look at my mother and my father's side of the family and they're all fucked up. So the fact that I'm 35 and the only issue I have is slightly high cholesterol, nothing crazy, but something that I need to keep an eye on. So is me getting better sleep for the last couple of years helping? I'd like to think so. So there you go. There's a few books to check out if you're in the mood. But with that, I think we can move on to Angelo's journal time. It's time for Angelo's journal. What's it gonna be? Cool shit or nonsense? Only one way to find out. Wow, 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 wow. And then a saxophone would come in. Do, 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 do. Well, I want to devote the majority of this podcast to my journal. It's getting backed up and clogged up, and it needs a ejaculation outlet so that I can put more cool shit on here. Now, for those of you that don't know, my journal is something I have on my phone that I drunkenly or stonily put cool ideas for the podcast on here, and then I never look at it again until the podcast. And so some of these journal entries are shit, maybe even over a year old at this point. So let's see if we can clean some of this up. The song remains the same. The Led Zeppelin live concert, wildest intro ever. Psychedelic awesomeness, a masterpiece of reality. Part movie, live show, documentary. Not sure if it's ever been done before. Yeah, that is a pretty damn good music documentary or live concert, whatever you want to call it. The song remains the same, Led Zeppelin live concert. I do remember the intro. It has something to do with the band, but it's not the band playing themselves. They're playing a version of themselves, and they're all separated, and they're trying to get together. But at the same time, there's like this weird, unsettling, deep state group of villains that are trying to take over the world or something. Like there was a Nazi in there was a werewolf in there were some other weird things in this kind of deep state in the basement of a room. I don't know. And so the band is tasked with taking the trash out or something. I don't quite understand it. I wish I could watch it live on the podcast so they can get to you, but I can't because it'll get demonetized. But yeah, the song remains the same. Crazy intro. But you know what? Fuck you, YouTube. I'm going to see if I can at least explain to you what happens. The song remains the same. Let's see. Opening scene. Here it is. Okay. Peter Grant is dressed like a 1920s gangster with a Tommy gun and gets in the old Model A and then shoots up the werewolf's poker game. I mean, right then and there. You have a poker game with a werewolf, and Peter Grant, wasn't he the drummer of Led Zeppelin? Oh, he was the manager. Oh, Jesus, that's right. Okay, so he was the manager of Led Zeppelin. Oh, yeah, that fat fuck. Oh, yeah. Okay, with the giant beard. Okay, so he's the one in the opening scene of the live concert, I suppose you want to call it, was dressed as a 1920s gangster, and he kills a werewolf who's playing a poker game. But I can't believe that I can't find, like, line by line what exactly happens in the opening scene. Man, sometimes the internet is good, and in instances like this, it's bullshit. The members of here's the storyline. Okay. The members of Led Zeppelin are called back from vacation by manager Peter Grant. Again, the guy who wiped out the werewolf and the poker game. I don't know why you had to kill the werewolf. Maybe the werewolf was just chilling at a poker game and this asshole busts through the door and wipes everybody out. The film is enhanced by each of the band's members' personal fantasies or hallucinations, such as the opening scene, which is awfully confusing the first time around, in which Peter Grant, dressed in Okay, wait, I just read that. Oh, God. Is there anything else? Okay. Well, I'm not entirely sure what I can do with this entry, except just reiterate what I already said. If you like Led Zeppelin, odds are you've already seen this documentary. The song remains the same. If you haven't, well then, get ready for some wild, hallucinatory shit. But it's pretty fun. And I still hold true to my journal entry here. I have seen a lot of live concerts, but I have never seen one quite like Led Zeppelin's The Song Remains the Same. So let's move on to the next entry here. Joe Rogan, Tim Dillon book club like Oprah's. Wow, what are the odds? We were just talking about books, and I'm talking about how there is no book club like Oprah's for men that I'm aware of. And to me, the two men that I hold in high esteem apparently at the time of this journal entry was Tim Dillon and Joe Rogan. Two amazing comedians and two of the most popular podcasts in the world. Now, you may have your own personal opinions about Joe Rogan and Tim Dillon. I have mine as well. But yeah, I do like that idea. Why can't we have a book club for men and have it run by two men who most men hold in high esteem, that are in the know anyway? And and plus Tim Dillon is gay, so you're covering all your bases there, although they are both white. So I guess if you're going to really cover the woke bases, you'd have to get a person of color. So let's see, a person of color who's on the level of Joe Rogan and Tim Dillon. I guess Charlemagne the God, maybe, because he's a big podcaster and singer, and is he a debater? I don't know. But yeah, I like that idea of having a book club for men, because God knows women have tons and tons and tons of celebrities in their book clubs. We already covered Oprah, Reese Witherspoon, Gwyneth Paltrow. I'm sure there's others. But to my knowledge, there is not a book club for men by men. Let me see. Book club for men by men. Let's see what comes up here. The Tough Guy Book Club. Oh my God. Well, if you have to call yourself tough, odds are you're a pussy. Tough Guy Book Club is a network of men's book clubs and local pubs. Oh, so it's not really a book club. Okay. Let's see. Goodreads has one. Men S Book Club. What? Reader recommendations. Men have book clubs too from the New York Times back in 2016. So it's been 6 years later. No, we haven't. Fuck it. I guess Angelo is going to have to start the man's book club. Well, let me go ahead and pull up my Goodreads here and tell you what I would recommend. Let me see. Where the fuck is Goodreads here? Not Audible, motherfucker. Goodreads. Audible is the audiobooks, obviously. I don't know why I can't find Goodreads. Here it is. Well, I already told you what I'm currently reading. So I guess we could say for the Angelo Grosso Man's Book Club, sure, why don't we read Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. Matthew Walker. And I don't think the 1619 Project is a good man's club book. So let me look at my want to read. By the way, if you don't use Goodreads and you're a book reader, go fuck yourself. Let's see. Date added. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't got to these books yet, but I will soon. What is my next book that I'm going to purchase? Let's see. Wonder by R.J. Palacio. Wait, didn't I see this movie or read the book already? This is about the kid that's all fucked up, and yeah, they made a movie with the kid from Room and Owen Wilson, and I forget who the wife was. Yeah, August Pullman was born with a facial difference that up until now has prevented him from going to mainstream school. And this book is going to be depressing as a motherfucker, but that's the next book on my list. So you know what? For the Angelo Grosso Book Club, the Grosso Book Club, the Angelo Book Club, I don't know. We need to work on that title. The Dank Times Danker Thoughts Book Club, I don't fucking know. It's going to be Wonder by R.J. Palacio and Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. So there you go, okay? Men read books too, you jabronis. Although I would, well, if I'm going to generalize here, I would say women tend to like books that are more mystery, murder, thriller, erotica, whereas men tend to like biographies, historical stuff, I guess historical fiction. I would imagine both sexes just like to curl up with a nice book. I don't know why we have to genderize reading, but I'm the one that's doing that. So I don't fucking know. But I like the idea of having a book club for men by men on the scale of Oprah, Reese Witherspoon, and Gwyneth Paltrow. And I think Joe Rogan, Tim Dillon, Charlemagne the God, maybe Matthew McConaughey, maybe Jeff Bridges. Who other men do I hold in high esteem and their opinions on things? Jon Stewart, absolutely. Bernie Sanders, yeah. Maybe Noam Chomsky, I don't know. But yeah, there you go, people. There's some good ideas right there. The song remains the same and a book club for men. But let's keep this shit journal going here. Let's see, what else is on this journal? Adrenochrome fountain. Adrenochrome fountain. Where do I know the term adrenochrome? Oh shit, isn't that the bullshit that the QAnon idiots believe that the elites are drinking after they kill babies? Let me see, adrenochrome. Yeah, oh, here it is. Adrenochrome is a chemical compound produced by the oxidation of adrenaline. It was a subject of limited research from the 50s through the 70s as a potential cause of schizophrenia. While it has no current medical application, the related derivative compound carbozochrome is a hemostatic medication. Let's see. The oxidation reaction that converts adrenaline into adrenochrome occurs both in vivo and in vitro. In solution, adrenochrome is pink, and further oxidation of a compound causes it to polymerize into brown or black melanin compounds. I don't know what any of that bullshit means. Let me look at the history of this. Several small-scale studies conducted in the 50s and 60s reported that adrenochrome triggered psychotic reactions such as thought disorder and derealization. Well, derealization, that's me every fucking day. In 1954, researchers Abram Hoffer and Humphrey Osmond claimed that adrenochrome is a neurotoxic psychotomimetic substance and may play a role in schizophrenia and other mental illnesses. in what was called the Adrenochrome hypothesis, Hoffer and Osman in 1967 speculated that megadoses of vitamin C and niacin could cure schizophrenia by reducing brain adrenochrome. The treatment of schizophrenia with such potent antioxidants is highly contested. In 1973, the American Psychiatric, why can't I say words? In 1973, the American Psychiatric Association reported methodological. People, I have a college degree, and I can't say common sense words here. The American Psychiatric Association reported methodological flaws in the work on niacin as a schizophrenic treatment and referred to follow-up studies that did not confirm any benefits of the treatment. Multiple additional studies in the US, Canada, and Australia similarly failed to find benefits of megavitamin therapy to treat schizophrenia. The adrenochrome theory of schizophrenia waned despite some evidence that it may be psychotomimetic, as adrenochrome was not detectable in people with schizophrenia. In the early 2000s, interest was renewed by the discovery that adrenochrome may be produced normally as an intermediate in the formation of neuromelanin. Okay, people, this is not a science class. My point being, I must have heard it, adrenochrome, somewhere, and I must have thought it was hilarious. And I thought, why don't we just have fountains of adrenochrome that we can drink? But I think that was the reaction of mine to what these QAnon blood harvester idiots believe is actually happening with the chemical adrenochrome. In fact, let's see, Men's Health has an article from this year called All About Adrenochrome, QAnon Blood Harvesting. Ooh! And let's see, there was another article from Wired called The Dark Virality of a Hollywood Blood Harvesting Conspiracy. Okay, so this is all QAnon bullshit. But let's read the Men's Health one first here. The fact that it isn't real hasn't stopped QAnon followers from sharing dangerous misinformation about blood harvesting, Hollywood elites, and more. I tell you, when your life is so shitty by your own choices and decisions that you choose to believe in a conspiracy theory, then I don't think you should vote. I think there should be a filterization process. If you believe in QAnon, you automatically are stripped of your ability to vote. If you consider yourself pro-life, then you are stripped of the right to vote. Now, those of you on the right that are freaking out right now, I'll say, fine. If you believe in unlimited genders and that your biology can be made up by whatever whim you believe in, you also don't have the ability to vote anymore. Oh, God. Adrenochrome is a drug that's the subject of a false and dangerous conspiracy theory being spread by QAnon followers. The theory suggests that liberal politicians and Hollywood elites are harvesting the blood of children to extract adrenochrome for its psychedelic and life-extending benefits. While completely untrue, the theory is widespread, and QAnon followers now count themselves among members of Congress. Again, another reason why we'll be speaking Chinese in 10 years. Not only are there idiots in this country that believe in this nonsense, but there's elected officials that run on the conspiracy theories and get supported by these same tardos, and now you have elected members of Congress believing in this bullshit. But let's face facts, people. Truly, if any of this was true, if you really could live forever by drinking the blood of the unborn and getting adrenochrome, don't you think that Donald Trump and the Bushes and the DeSantises of the world would be chugging that shit like a mint julep? I think that's the second reference to a mint julep on this podcast. Yeah, I love it. So it's only the liberal elite that are doing this. God forbid, yeah. Lindsey Graham and Dick Cheney wouldn't do this. No. Josh Hawley and Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and Jim Jordan, they would never do this. No. This is something only liberal Democrats do. You fucking morons. I'm not going to go into the whole QAnon conspiracy, but that's where the adrenochrome fountain came from. I think it'd be hilarious. As an art installation in maybe a liberal city, you build this giant fountain that is just water, or fountain, and you put a label up there saying, hey, adrenochrome fountain, and just see people lose their fucking mind. And the people that are losing their mind, that's when you tackle them and take away their ability to vote. And then you have people like me that will see the fountain and just start laughing. And then officials should walk up to me and say, the fact that you're laughing and you find this funny, you now can vote 3 times. Take away people's voting rights and give those voting rights to people that they can vote 3 or 4 or 5 times. There you go, people. That way you get progress. But with that, I think we are done with the journal. I knocked out a few. You know, I'm going to put an emphasis going forward that I'm going to try to at least read 2 to 3 journal entries an episode now. Sometimes I go a little off the rails with the news or sports or anything. And I kind of forget that I have other entertainment that I can bring on this podcast. So this is a learning lesson for me as well. So moving forward, we're going to try to have a better balance between things. So, yeah. So let's see, anything personal I want to talk about? Let's see, my Idaho trip is coming up soon, later this week actually. I'm pretty excited about it. I still have to go shopping and get some stuff that I thought I had. You know, your boy here does not currently have a sleeping bag? What the fuck, right? I remember buying a very good sleeping bag a couple of years ago, but then after I really thought about it, a couple of years ago was actually like a decade ago. So I need to go out and buy a fucking sleeping bag. And I also realized I don't have a tent. Now, I'll be sleeping in a cabin on this instance, but still, I should have a tent, don't you think? Maybe I'm going to go out and buy one of those flip tents. Because, surprise, surprise, I'm not an outdoorsy guy. I have put up many tents before in my life, but it's never easy, it's time consuming, and more often than not, I probably fucked up putting up the tent. So I think what would be beneficial to me and jabronis like me is that I get this newfangled flip tent that you just kind of open it up and flip it out and it shoots out kind of like a spring, like it's spring loaded or something. And then when you want to pack it up, you kind of just squeeze it all together like an accordion and throw it away in the bag. Now, of course, is it going to be a top of the line? Absolutely not. But is it going to have an entrance and a flap? And are you going to get coverage from the elements and the insects and everything when you're camping? Absolutely. And as long as I can lay my fat ass in there like a beached whale, I'm happy. So I need to buy a tent and a sleeping bag. And of course, I have to go to the weed shop. I have to go to Costco for some supplies. You know, I still got some shit to do, but I'm looking forward to it. I really, really am. On the dating front, not much. I still am seeing some lady friends, but we're just friends. You know, we're spicy friends, as I call it. But nothing beyond that. So nothing really happening on the dating front. And my parents are alive, so I guess that's good. I'm working outside a lot more when the weather is really nice. But I tell you, I've been finding a lot of dead rodents around my property, which is good because I put poison out there in my crawl space and everything. But I don't know how they're getting into my crawl space, eating the poison, and then leaving the crawl space and going outside and dying. I don't get it. Because my crawl space is walled off. There's no way to get in that I'm aware of. I tell you, I found a disgusting dead rat inside my bird seed. So I had to dump the whole thing. I don't think I could give that bird seed that has a dead rat or mouse in there for God knows how long the thing was decaying inside the bird seed, but gross. I feel bad for the birds because I was going to give them a nice full bird feeder before I left on the trip. And I guess I still can. I guess I could get that bird seed at Costco, but it's just disgusting. Fucking mice and rats, gross. They really are just walking food for every other species. Them and rabbits. Basically rodents. Rodents and fish are at the bottom of the barrel at the ecological food chain. But I think with that, I'm drawing a blank if there's anything else worth talking about. Mariners are still in the playoffs as we speak. The first Seahawks preseason game is this weekend. They had their first mock game. Apparently Drew Lock to look better than Geno Smith, but that's not that hard. Sue Bird played her last game, and it was a very emotional roller coaster. A lot of tears, a lot of cheering, and absolutely she's going to be in the Hall of Fame, and she really should be inducted into the Seattle Sports Hall of Fame, and I can't imagine she's not going to. And so, yeah, with that, I think we can move to wrap up here. I do want to play a video that I found. It's a quick little soundbite, actually, not a full video here. So don't worry, YouTube. We're not going to get demonetized by it. But yes, let's move to close here. I was scrolling memes the other day and I saw a really cool post about this older woman named Jane Elliott. And I have never heard of Jane Elliott, so I looked her up. She is an American diversity educator. As a school teacher, she became known for her blue eyes, brown eyes exercise, which she first conducted with her third grade class on April 5th, 1968, the day after the assassination of Martin Luther King. Publication in the local newspaper of compositions the children had written about the experience led to much broader media interest. The classroom exercise was filmed in 1970, becoming the documentary The Eye of the Storm. PBS series Frontline featured a reunion of the 1970 class as well as Elliott's work with adults. In its 1985 episode, A Class Divided, invitations to speak and to conduct her exercise eventually led Elliott to give up school teaching and to become a full-time public speaker against discrimination. She has directed the exercise and lectured on its effects in many places throughout the world. She also has conducted the exercise with college students, as seen in the 2001 documentary, The Angry Eye. She teaches about racism's effects all throughout society, but more so when you're a child and you are inundated or surrounded by a family or a society or friends that are racist. And you find out that that does fuck up children from the get-go. What's that old saying? Racism isn't learned. Racism isn't... What is that saying? Racism isn't something it's learned? Hold on a minute. God damn it. I hate it when I can't think of common sense things. Let's see. What is the saying? Racism isn't innate, it's learned. Okay, that's what I was trying to think of. Jesus Christ. Again, people, I want to reiterate, somehow, some way, I have a college degree from the University of Washington. A accredited university. So I don't know what the fuck's going on. But anyway, what I'm about to play you is from a speech she gave when a all-white audience was asked about race.
I want every white person in this room who would be happy to be treated as this society in general treats our citizens, our black citizens. If you, as a white person, would be happy to receive the same treatment that our black citizens do in this society, please stand.
No one's standing.
You didn't understand the directions. If you white folks want to be treated the way blacks are in this society, stand. Nobody's standing here. That says very plainly that you know what's happening. You know you don't want it for you. I want to know why you're so willing to accept it or to allow it to happen for others.
Woo! Goosebumps, baby. I don't know how you're not moved by only a 30-second clip. I mean, that perfectly sums up fucking idiot, racist morons in this country that defend the overtly racist history, past, present, and current history, especially when you look at critical race theory or just bettering education when it comes to understanding our American history, our values. And if you truly think that everything's okay, I hope that they will listen to that question and they will understand that, oh shit, maybe it's not so good. Maybe I'm just a fucking lazy bimbo and I can't move past that initial thought into that next level, higher level of thinking about, oh yes, but let me have some empathy here. Let me have some compassion. If I was born black, would I want to be treated the way that I see black people are treated? Probably not. Probably not. So I highly recommend you check out Jane Elliott. But with that, we are done. I told you it was a quick episode, not a lot of fluff. So with that, take it sleazy. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Treat others as you want to be treated. And don't be a judgmental cunt, all right? So peace out, bitches. See you guys around the bend.